News and information 570 AM.
96.3 FM HD2. KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth. KLIF.com.
A Cumulus station.
Now, from the 5th floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Welcome to Inside Real Estate. It's Mike Kruizinga here, your local Dallas-Fort Worth area realtor and your host for the next hour. Come on in and stay a while. I don't know what that commercial was that prior to the show coming on. I just want you to know that has nothing to do with me and my show. I don't know what that was. A little creepy, a little spooky. Maybe Halloween going on or something there before that. But that has nothing to do with us. So welcome to Inside Real Estate, where we talk all things real estate. We talk sports, entertainment, politics, all kinds of stuff, because real estate is about life and everything we do at home and everything that goes around it and surrounds it. Going to have an action-packed show today. You want to call in, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF, website InsideRealEstateRadio.com. You can always connect with us in there and all of our partners. Don't forget our smartphone app, DFW Metroplex Real Estate, in your smartphone, Droid and Apple. And, of course, all of our social media that Sam attacks for us on a weekly basis. All the stories that we talk about during the show are on our Pinterest page. There's a Pinterest page for every single Sunday's show. And, of course, Twitter, Facebook, and then YouTube and all that good stuff. So connect with us there. Here's the outline real quick, folks. We got a lot to do today. We've got J.C. Harder coming up in about 2 seconds. We're going to talk insurance talk. He's finally live back here in studio after a little break away from us. Then we're going to go to Mortgage Talk. We got Terry Wagner live in studio. Then we're going to talk to Jared from PermaPeer, Foundation Repair. And then at the end of the show, we're going to be talking to Colin Baker, Republican candidate running in District 6 against Joe Barton. So we're going to be chatting with him a little bit later in the show. So no time right now for some of the usual stuff we do. If I can fit it in later, I will. This day in history, headlines, that type of stuff, we're going to try to get to later in the show if we can, but that may not happen. So let's rock and roll into Insurance Talk with J.C. Harder. We're doing a rolling segment every few weeks on the various carriers that he works with. And by the way, website jcharderagency.com, jcharderagency.com, phone number 214-643-6108, where they are always standing by for all of your insurance needs. JC, welcome back.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. It's been a while since we've seen you live, and you just had a birthday. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Happy B-Day,
Thank you.
big boy.
Well, yeah, like you mentioned, we're going to keep going with our different options that we represent at our Goosehead Agency. So this morning we're going to focus on a company called Wellington Frontier. Now, you're not going to see this carrier on the TV, sponsoring sporting events or anything like that. They are a local regional carrier based in Fort Worth. So they are very, why that's beneficial for homeowners is they're very quick when claims and disasters do happen. So instead of working with, the big companies that have different offices all over the place, this one is everything's coming out of Fort Worth. So they have a lot of people on the ground and, at your service when needed. So just kind of hit the highlights with them. They, like I mentioned, they are more of a regional carrier, so they're only going to write for Texas homeowners. So again, you're not going to see them advertising, but at the same time, you're going to save premium that way as well.
Sure.
Talk about a couple different types of their policies. On the homeowner side, this is probably our main go-to carrier when it is more of a rural area or have some acreage there. So where some of the companies might limit at 5, 10, or 20 acres, this company will go up to 100. So they are going to take more of your rural areas. Now, they're still not going to it's not like a farm and ranch type policy. You still want to get on a commercial policy for something like that. But if it's a couple horses, a couple cows, kind of pet use, things like that, then this is a good option for you. Okay,
so they will take the acreage, but not necessarily if you're a fully operational
exactly
farm or ranch. Okay.
And what's nice about their policy is they have they just released one about 8 to 10 months ago called their Select product. So this is going to be their top-notch, all-risk HO3, and they are going to rate on credit on that. So if you do have good credit, then you're going to get a better, that's a better situation for you. However, they do have 3 or 4 other types of policies that, might not have as many perks as that top one does, but they're not going to look at credit on those applicants. So if, for any reasons, the credit's not great right now and your other carrier has, increased because of that, then this can be an option for you because they're going to look at strictly the house itself.
Right. And a lot of people don't think about that is, folks, the insurance carriers are always looking at you, your policy, your risk. They're assessing you as risk in general. And part of that is them checking your credit. So, let's say you had something happen in your life and your credit took a hit. Well, your insurance policy could go up. Well, in that case, you need to talk to JC Harder because he might be able to move you to this carrier or any of one of the very many carriers that he represents to get you the best deal.
Absolutely, and they also will cover a couple, loose ends. They don't rate nearly as bad as far as previous claims history. So if you have had a couple, maybe theft or water claims or, non-catastrophic claims, those look really bad on paper to most of the carriers in the industry, where Wellington Frontier will, they won't surcharge you as much for those things.
Okay.
Also, they'll take a little more of the aggressive dog breeds as well. So they might not cover your pit bull or your Rottweiler, but at least they'll allow you to, write the risk. Where about, probably 18 to 20 of my carriers, as soon as you say pit bull, they're not acceptable. So this is one of our, loose ends for that as well.
Okay, great. So for those of you who have the aggressive breeds out there, then JC still might just be able to take care of you on that.
Yeah. And we all know they're raised differently, but they get a bad rap. And
they do. They're not just bad dogs, just from the get-go necessarily. A lot of them are bred to be mean, fighting machines.
So Wellington Frontier will take that, again, just not cover any liability. So
so what exactly will they do?
They'll let you take your policy and insure your house and your roof, but not your dog.
Well, that's just great.
They will take an older roof as well. As you know, in North Texas, as many hailstorms as we get, a lot of companies are kind of capping that at about a 15-year roof. So everybody, talks about their 30-year shingle roof, but there's no such thing in North Texas because the amount of storms we have. But this carrier will take an older roof as well, too, for you.
Sounds good.
Switch to the next. They do have a great landlord-type policy as well, or their dwelling product. And they have the upgrade or like the normal, but they also have a couple small ones. So if you're the investor that literally wants to do the fire only, wind only, insure it at, actual cash value or market value opposed to a replacement cost. If you have a lot of different rental properties, we see that with investors. So they have a good option for that. Another thing I've mentioned a lot of companies won't take a landlord policy in the name of an LLC for your big-time investors, but they will. Also, they have a vacant option as well, too. Same thing with the pit bull. Once you mention that the house is going to be vacant or like a secondary, you're there, a couple months out of the year, many companies shy away from that, but Wellington Frontier will write a vacancy-type policy as well.
Okay. And, for the investors out there, the LLC option is huge because you need to have that policy in that name. And then, even if you are a small-time investor too, if you haven't put together an LLC to hold your properties, that's kind of a mistake. You probably want to work on doing that, even if you have just one or two, because, as soon as you have one, boom, there's liability. Absolutely. And that's going to go to you, and you rather want that under the LLC umbrella.
And last little piece on Wellington Frontier, something that's pretty unique is about 3 or 4 months ago, they just rolled out an earthquake policy, which it can be a standalone earthquake policy. I say a handful. It's a very, very small handful will offer earthquake coverage on your regular homeowner's policy, like Travelers, MetLife, for instance, come to mind for that. However, you have to fit in those target markets for those, and then you're adding on the earthquake. Where this policy through Wellington Frontier, you can tack it on to any homeowner's policy you have. It is a separate policy, but premiums are literally around $200 a year to get earthquake coverage. And, a handful that we have sold in the short time we've had it is in the Irving area,
right.
Around the old Cowboys Stadium there, where a lot of things have happened. And so if you can spend, up to $200 a year and get coverage for earthquake, then that's not a, it's good value for not much premium.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we have, the folks in Irving have definitely experienced a lot of, shake, rattle, and roll for a while, and it's something we're not used to here in the DFW area is talking about earthquakes. But prior to being able to have this type of coverage, what was as homeowners, what was our option?
It was, if you fit in that market with, your MetLife or Travelers, I know none of the captive agencies offer earthquake coverage, but I don't think we have hardly any on the books because it was a 10% deductible and it was, a very expensive add-on. So people were like, hey, we'll take our chances on that. But with Wellington, they're offering this, very valued premium, and it's only a 2.5% deductible instead of 10. So all in all, just really good value.
Okay. So although most of us don't really have to worry about earthquakes, here in the DFW area, if you did live in Irving, Las Colinas area, particularly if you have maybe a higher end property,
absolutely,
this would be a great benefit add-on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, and last little piece on that, they're not going to allow an escrow for that earthquake policy, so it would be a not necessarily a one-time payment, but it would be a payment plan between us and you. You wouldn't get your mortgage involved, but of course it wouldn't change your mortgage payment either. So
okay.
But again, really really low premium for good value with that earthquake policy.
Very good. Okay. Well, JC, it's good to see you again. Folks, it's been JC Harder from the JC Harder Goosehead Insurance Agency over here in Uptown Dallas. Website, jcharderagency.com, and phone number, 214-643-6108 for all your insurance needs. I highly recommend often checking your insurance, both home, auto, toy, and otherwise. Give JC a call because things change all the time, and you want to make sure you have the best rate all the time. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruizinga going to be back in a few. With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731-6730, Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032. Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruizinga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we are back. Mike Kruizinga, Inside Real Estate, website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Hey, and on Pinterest, it's Inside Real Estate Radio, obviously. And then at Twitter, it's at Kruizinga Radio. I know my last name is kind of wild and crazy. And, I'm kind of like one of the last of the Mohicans. It's like the last Kruizinga in the U.S. almost. But just go to the Inside Real Estate Radio website, and then you can kind of figure out how my last name is spelled. Hey, guess what, folks? It's time for Mortgage Talk. We've got Terry Wagner here live in studio. Folks, the website is RockyMartin.com. Rocky with an I-E. That's RockyMartin.com from Supreme Lending Rockwall. And the phone number where they're always standing by for your mortgage needs, refinance needs, 866-607-5667. Terry, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Mike?
I'm excellent.
I haven't been in a couple of weeks either.
I know. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be here.
Thank you. Well, let's get into some mortgage talk.
I thought I would talk about a very timely subject today, and that is tax returns as it applies to your mortgage loan application.
Tax returns, the best part of taxes.
Oh, goodness, yes. So the very first thing you need to know is, number one, I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a tax lawyer. I am a licensed loan originator. So I'm going to tell you how it applies to when you make loan application.
That's right.
Okay? I don't want anybody to be confused.
That's right. If you need advice on that, seek the appropriate professional.
That is correct. Yes, not me. So when you go to make a mortgage loan application, one of the documents that your mortgage loan officer is going to need is going to be your tax returns. That's all pages. not just page 1 and 2, but all your schedules. Now, if you're just a regular W-2 employee, you don't write anything off, that's not going to be a big deal on your application. But more often than not, we see people write everything off. They write everything they can off.
Right.
And certain job types are going to have, we kind of know to look for those things. So the big ones, obviously, if you're self-employed. We have some folks who call in and they get upset because they wrote everything off and it shows a negative number on their tax returns, and then we can't do a loan for them because we can't prove any income.
Right.
If you're self-employed, like real estate agents and others in our field, then you don't. If you write everything off, then your income that we have to use is your tax returns. That's all we have to prove your income.
Right.
So be careful on that. Seek the advice right now before you file your taxes. If you plan on buying a home this year, seek the advice of a mortgage loan originator such as myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we can kind of talk you through that before you file your taxes in April.
Yeah, that's very important. After the crash, the stated income, which was, for a great benefit for the self-employed, that changed.
That did go away.
And so it's very difficult as a self-employed person to get your mortgage, if you're writing things off. And of course you want to reduce your tax liability, but when it comes to getting a mortgage, it's going to be a catch-22 for you.
Right. It's definitely planning ahead.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're hoping to have a program for self-employed borrowers coming hopefully this year where it's not quite such a burden. But anyway, that's shows down the road.
Okay.
So self-employed borrowers, that's a big issue that we run into when folks make application. And then another really big one is the unreimbursed business expenses on a W-2 employee. Most people don't even know that they have the unreimbursed business expenses on their tax returns because they have a CPA that does it for them. I'll be taking an application, verbally. Do you have any unreimbursed? But no, I don't have any of those. Okay, send me your tax returns, because some job descriptions and job titles just ring a bell for us and say, yes, they're going to have some. Sales rep, they're going to have unreimbursed business expenses.
Right.
So we want to see that before the pre-qualification process is complete, because I've had applications before where we take their income, they completely qualify for a mortgage, we look at the tax returns, they wrote over half of their income off, and now they can't buy a house.
Right.
So again, talk to us before you file your tax returns. It may be a year that you just don't write everything off if you plan on purchasing a home.
Exactly.
You can do that next year, but not this year.
Right, exactly. You may have to alter your plans just for a year.
Right.
Yep.
And when you make a mortgage application, you're going to have a 2-year history. So we're going to need the last 2 years' tax return. So if last year you wrote a bunch off and then 2015 we don't write a bunch off, we just average those 2 years. So it may be a situation that we can figure out what the numbers need to be and tell you, don't write anything off or something along those lines.
Exactly. Okay.
And so, but again, another reason why we want to see the tax returns on those unreimbursed business expenses, there's part of your tax return is a 2106. That's the form that you fill out when you have the itemization and you've got the business expenses. So some of that we can add back in. So again, make sure you get your mortgage loan officer all pages of your tax returns.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can add back in your mileage. A lot of sales reps, that's their biggest deduction in most cases. And when we look at your 2106 of your tax return, what we're looking for is the total mileage that you drove the vehicle for business use. There's a section in there for total mileage, and then there's a section for business use.
Right.
The business use we can add back in.
Sure.
And there are a couple of other things that we can add back in, like home use, your home used for business purposes. We can add some of that back in. So we just want to see that. And really what we're looking for is your total adjusted gross income and how that relates to your debts.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're looking to try to find out some bonuses for them because, look, folks, the people at Supreme Lending, they are on your side, and they want to try to figure out as many things as possible to help you get the best loan product and the best interest rate.
Right. I'm helping a few families right now that because of the time of year that it is, we're able to tell them. I can work kind of backwards. That's what we're good at, is working numbers.
Right.
We work those numbers backwards. Okay, here's what your tax return needs to say for 2015 in order for you to be able to purchase this home that in the price range that you're wanting to buy.
Exactly.
So we can do that. Let's see, what else can we tell them about tax returns, Mike?
Well, it's a great time of year to buy.
It is a great time of year.
Because guess what? That tax return just might be your down payment.
Well, and there's a couple of go a different way with tax returns. If 2013 and 2014 were good years for you as self-employed, and maybe 2015 wasn't, purchase the house before you file your 2015 tax returns.
Right.
So now is a great time to talk to a mortgage person that can help you determine when the best time to buy is. Is it better for you to go ahead and file your taxes now, or is it better for you to go ahead and wait? Because one of the documents in the vast number of disclosures that we send to you to sign for us to get your loan started is a 4506T. That allows us the opportunity to order your transcripts from the IRS. That tells us, number one, that you filed your tax returns, which is extremely important. We haven't talked about that. If you haven't filed your tax returns for the last 2 years,
We don't want to talk to you.
you're not going to be able to buy a house. You're going to have to file your tax returns.
That's right.
But it's going to let us see those transcripts directly from the IRS and tell us what it. So be sure and give us true statements of your tax returns that were actually filed with the IRS.
Yes. Yeah, you can't just print off something that we're going to verify that.
It is going to be verified. Everything we do is verified.
We're not going to just trust them.
We would like to.
Yes, we would.
But it doesn't work too well that way.
I know.
So yes, we can help you determine when's the best time, number one, to file your taxes, number two, how to file those tax returns so that you can optimize the home that you want to qualify for.
Yeah, folks, all of this stuff is connected. And if you think it's not, and then you do it after the fact, you're like, oh, man, I should have thought about that. Well, we're trying to tell you now. Think about it in advance. All of these things are connected. If you are going to get a mortgage, purchase a home, anything like that, refinance, talk to us first. Right. And, your taxes have a big part of that.
Well, and remember I said that we are going to get those transcripts back. If you're going to file your 2015 tax returns and use that return for qualification of your mortgage, it's going to take them a while to process that return. Mm-hmm. So the IRS has to process your tax return, then we have to get the transcripts in. So that can delay closings sometimes. So again, the timing is just really important. And when your mortgage person tells you they need all of these documents, get them to as quickly as possible. So that we can give you your timeline on when is a good time for you to buy.
Yeah, and then it's a great point about, you said, if you had a great year in 2013 and 2014, 2015, you kind of went down a little bit. Well, yeah, we don't have to file those yet.
Perfect time.
Let's get you knocked out now.
Right.
And of course, if you're W-2, it's not necessarily going to apply to you.
Right.
But those of you who are self-employed definitely will.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
That's all I have on tax returns. I mean, there's much more, but
that's
all I have time for
There's
today.
always a heck of a lot more.
When it comes to tax returns, there is.
That's right. Well, and mortgage in general, really.
Yes.
It's such a huge part of what we do. And tax returns, folks, I mean, so many people that we work with in the spring, they say the previous year we start working with them in maybe October, November, and they say, hey, I'm using my tax return next year as my down payment, or a big portion of it. And so you got to think about that. Save that aside, and we can get you into a property. So many people renting, and the rents just keep going up
crazy.
And up and up. Hey, if you're tired of paying those high rents, we can get you into a home, same price or lower than what they're paying for rent as a mortgage, and you own it.
Yes, I closed a loan for a lady last month, I think it was. Her mortgage payment was less than what she was paying for rent for a small apartment, and we did one of those bond programs that I'm so fond of talking about. And it was less than what she would have had to come up with for down payment to rent another place.
Yeah. People don't know how easy it is to purchase and to own a property, and they get so scared about it, and they stay in the rent race. You need to talk to us, folks.
Right.
Give Terry a call at 866-607-5667. That's Terry Wagner with Supreme Lending Rockwall. The website, RockyMartin.com, Rocky with an I-E, RockyMartin.com. Folks, we've had another great mortgage segment with Terry Wagner. Thank you, Terry. Folks, Inside Real Estate, Mike Kruizinga will be back in a few.
Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruizinga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731-6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
The J.C. Harder Insurance Agency in Uptown Dallas has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency Network. For a quote today on all your insurance needs, stop by J.C.'s office on McKinney Avenue in Uptown Dallas. Call 214-643-6108 or visit jcharderagency.com. That's 214-643-6108 or jcharderagency.com.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, Mike Kruizinga. We are back. It's Inside Real Estate website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Phone number if you want to call in, chat with us, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF. And I'm happy to report we've got our good friend from Permapier Foundation Repair of Texas, Jared Benson, here live in studio. Website, folks, is permapier.com, permapier.com. And phone number 214-637-1444 for your foundation repair needs. Jared, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, we're excited to have you guys on board working with us exclusively, our exclusive foundation repair company that we're working with. And I love the fact that you guys just have such an amazing business and over 20,000 jobs you guys have done here in the DFW area. And you've used one of the best tried and true methods to repair foundations. And it's such an important part of what we do in real estate.
Yep.
I'm just really excited to have you on board here.
Yep. No, we're really excited. And yeah, that's a lot of homes that we've and those we only count the successful completions. So
that's right. All the bad ones. Don't worry about that. Just kidding out there. Just kidding.
But yeah, no, we're real excited to be here, and we do. We implement a lot of different methods to make sure that the repair plan we recommend for each of our clients' homes is really the correct repair plan,
right,
to make sure that it's done the right way and will have the most long-term impact on the home and the property.
Yeah, I mean, the type of soil that we have here in the DFW area, and then you kind of combine that with the fact we have some pretty extreme climate conditions.
Yep.
With extreme heat. If you're seeing those huge cracks in your yard when we get so dry and get into those drought times, that dryness plays havoc on your foundation. And then, of course, when we do get rain, it comes heavy as can be all in a short period of time, which can create some erosion.
It can.
So,
and it can even cause your home to heave up into the air,
right,
causing the exact opposite of what we normally expect when it comes to foundation issues.
Yeah, and we've seen that. We've seen homes heave, and it's really a weird sight because the property can actually be up out of the ground.
Yeah, and we've even seen because of all the rain this year, a number of properties where there's just water seeping through the slab, where there's not a plumbing leak, there's not a sewer leak, but the home is flooding whenever it rains just because of the amount of moisture in the soil.
Right. And a lot of times when these subdivisions are built, there's a lot of backfill and who knows what may kind of be in or around underneath your foundation, But, Jared's going to be in here on a regular basis talking to us about, how we can avoid foundation repair, how we can properly water our foundations, during the summer, how we can properly deal with water management, which is a huge part of it. And but if you do need repairs, we're going to talk about all those types of things, the types of repairs you guys do, and when you need it and when you don't need it, when you might be able to just bounce it back without the repairs.
Yep, that or kind of sit and wait and see what happens sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, these aren't the folks that are going to come out to your house and just because that's what they do is foundation repair, say, oh, yeah, we're going to sell you a foundation repair job. They care for you, and that's why we want to work with them. They care for you, and they're going to do what's best for you and your property.
That's right. There's a lot of companies out there that do foundation repair. A lot that don't do it maybe the best way they could, or run the business the best way they should. It's a problem in the foundation repair industry. So we do like to think of ourselves as some of the good guys and really help people and educate them and really only give them what they need and recommend what's truly needed on their homes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Let's get into a little bit of the background of the company and kind of let you go from there.
Yeah. So our owner, the original owner, I should say, is Sean Lawson. Brought his brother in a few years after he purchased the company, around 2002, 2003. Our company was really formed on realtor relationships. It really grew our business really fast. When you treat a realtor the right way and take care of them and take care of their customers, they'll talk about you. And that's kind of how most business is. When you treat people the right way, they'll let people know.
Exactly.
So that's what we were really on. Rode that wave up through 2007, 2008, when that wave kind of crashed on us, and so we kind of pivoted our business model and jumped over into working with home builders. Well, when you buy a new home, there's generally a structural warranty on that property for 10, sometimes up to 12 years. And we, worked relationships, met people, and got into the business of servicing their warranties for them.
Okay.
So we still do this. A big part of our business is going out for a lot of the big home builders, national, state, and local builders. And when their foundations fail within the first 10 years, they trust us to come in and lift those homes and secure them so that they won't have to deal with that house anymore.
Right.
We even have begun working in the commercial industry with multifamily homes, warehouses, industrial areas. So we really have a wide array of what we do. And we also got back into real estate strongly, and that's where a lot of our growth has come from recently with this market, and a lot of people have done that. A lot of people in all sorts of areas have ridden the real estate market with you guys.
Right.
So we're just really excited about where we're going in the future.
Yeah, and it's every industry rides ups and downs, and of course everybody was impacted with the crash way back when. And so what I want to point out as to what Jared's just saying is, the smart companies know how to navigate a market when it goes south. The companies that don't know how to navigate it, guess what? They shuttered, they closed. And look, a lot of great companies shuttered and closed after the crash. There's no doubt about it. But the smart companies knew how to navigate it and to stay successful and to stay in the game. You guys were one of those companies that just kept going, kept growing and doing it. And, folks, if you've got a new build out there, this is a huge endorsement, okay? Permapeer is the company that a lot of these huge builders are going to bring in when they have issues with their new builds. That's a huge, huge endorsement that you're coming in and you're backing these guys up and taking care of the foundations when maybe they get something wrong, or maybe it's just a soil issue, or there's a gazillion issues that can go south with the foundation. But you guys are the ones they call.
Yeah, sometimes, there's just parts of town that no matter what you do, there's going to be a problem.
Right.
And so I don't want to speak badly about anyone, obviously, and that's really it's just it. It's just the soil. There's only so much you can do.
Right.
Even on the homes where they put those builder piers in, when they pour the foundations, those homes even fail sometimes. So
yeah.
But yeah, that is really one of the things I like to tell people the most to kind of back up what I say about what we do, is that, hey man, these big companies trust us to come take care of their customers and to assume the liability on that property for that.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we're working on a couple deals. I've got 2 houses that are going to come on this week. We had some repairs we had to get done to them. Both of them, you guys did the foundation repairs for both homes and did a great job. Got in, got out, got it knocked out, did it professionally, extremely well done. And of course, we also had our Ideal Floors group come in, do flooring.
Yep.
And so we're just in the process of getting all the photos shot, and they'll be on the market this week. So great job on those. And again, the great thing about that I've talked talked about it before on the show, is, you know, in the cases where it's needed, you'll take payment at closing for our clients that need to sell their house but get their foundation repairs done.
We can definitely do that, and we truly do a fund at close. And if someone offers that, make sure you listen to what they're talking about, because sometimes they're actually just offering you third-party financing.
Right.
And that's not what you want to do a lot of times when you're qualifying for a mortgage.
You're banging on with that, because you don't want to take on any new debt, open up any new accounts, and, you know, in those cases, you're absolutely right. They can say, oh, surprise, and then that throws the debt-to-income ratio off, and we might just, you know, you're not going to be able to buy something. We could sell you something, make you homeless, but might not be able to help you.
If you wanted to move to another house, you might have a problem.
Exactly. Exactly. Great point. And by the way, huge thanks on those two jobs, because those homes needed it, and they did need the pay at closing option, and so huge thank you.
Well, I think there's an email sitting in my inbox from you that I haven't responded to, so I'll get to that tomorrow morning. So
yes, well, I believe I was asking about I needed the warranty doc on both of those, because we like to put those into the listings and show everybody, and that's a great point too, because, you know, the majority of all the repairs that you guys do are going to come with a lifetime transferable warranty, which is in real estate so huge, because the purchaser of a property, when the foundation repairs have been done, they want to know that, you know, if something goes wrong down the line, that they could still call the folks
that's
who
right.
did the repairs. Yeah.
And it's definitely a topic for a future show, but that warranty can be so confusing, but it's so important to make sure that your client has a warranty on any work that's been done.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and obviously, as we're working with sellers, they want to do business with people that have been around for a long time, which you guys have been. Like I said, you smartly navigated the crashes and the market bubbles, and you're going to be around, and you guys stand behind your work.
That's right. Yeah, we've always stood behind our work, and we have big plans for the future. You know, really, we don't only service the DFW Metroplex, but we service Houston, we service San Antonio. For larger projects, we even go down to Austin, and just looking forward to that growth and really spreading the good name of PermaPure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, guess what? We've been chatting with Jared Benson over at PermaPure Foundation Repair of Texas. The website, permapure.com, and that's PERMA. Peer.com, 214-637-1444 at their office. Make sure you tell them you heard us on the radio show here, 570 KLIF, Inside Real Estate Radio. And, of course, you can always connect with them at my website as well, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Jared, super big thanks. I'm looking forward to all the segments coming up, because foundation is such a huge part of our homes, and we have so many issues here in Texas, so there's going to be thousands of things for us to talk about. I'm looking forward to it. Jared, thanks so much.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and looking forward to the future.
Same here. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruizinga. Be back in a few.
Get your tickets for the 39th Annual Davy O'Brien Foundation Awards Dinner, taking place at the Fort Worth Club in Fort Worth, Monday, February 15th. This year's event will honor the Davy O'Brien National Quarterback Award, the legends and high school scholarship winners, as well as the Charles Ringler Foundation's award recipient. This is a black tie event, and seats are limited. Contact the Davy O'Brien Foundation at 817-338-3488 for more information.
Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruizinga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, Mike Kruizinga. We are back Inside Real Estate Radio. Website InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Phone number 888-787-KLIF. That's 5543 on the back end. What an action-packed show. We did insurance talk with JC. We did mortgage talk with Terry. We did foundation repair talk with Jared. And we ain't done yet. Time to go into our politics segment, because this year is an election year. And we've got live here in studio the Republican candidate going up against Joe Barton in the 6th District, running for Congress, Colin Baker. Colin, let's see if we got your mic queued up over there. We are all good to go. Colin, how we doing?
I'm doing well, Mike. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, I'm glad you could come on down on a Sunday morning, bright and early.
It was a little early, but it was worth it.
Finding our spot, and of course, folks. Funny thing, we can't actually even park in the garage. That's we have to go into a parking garage and take a private elevator up in here. But we can't even park in this garage, so it's always kind of funny getting people here and telling them to park somewhere else. But
well, it was a nice area to walk through.
Sure, yeah.
The sidewalk's really nice. The people said hi and waved. I mean, it was great.
There you go. Well, let's get into a little bit of your background. Let's tell people, who you are, what you've been doing, and why in the heck you want to run for Congress. And, you come out of the automotive industry. And so just give us a little bit of background. Tell us about you.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, my name's Colin Baker. I've been in the automotive industry for the past 12 years, running parts and service departments for automotive dealerships. And it sort of happened that as we went through, my job became to fix underperforming parts and service departments. And in so doing, we would institute processes and institute different procedures. And it never fails. You've always got the employees that don't particularly want to do it a certain way, and they'll come up with excuses as to why it can't be done. It's too difficult. The partners may not like it, other things like that. And my response to them is always, I don't come to work scared, and neither should you. And I've never been a politician before. I mean, I've never held office. I've never done anything like this.
That's a good thing.
And I think so too, because a phrase that gets kicked around a lot is, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Right.
Well, we as the Republican side of things expect them to make the government smaller. We expect them to make us more free. We expect them to have a constitutional form of government. Yet we keep voting the people in office who haven't got it done.
Right.
So I think it's important for someone who's never been involved in the process to run, and even more important for someone who doesn't really plan on being a lifetime politician to run, because one of the things that I think we truly need are people who want to serve for a short time, make us more free, decrease the size of government, and then step out and go back into the private sector and let somebody else take over before you can catch the disease that seems to run rampant in Washington, which is complacency.
Right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, some of our greatest politicians didn't really want to be politicians. They were, doctors, lawyers, or just regular Joes, merchant men. And they went in, they did their job, and then they left. And then oftentimes, they were begged to come back, and sometimes they were needed, sometimes not. But I think that's, we the people of the people is lost. And, what you're saying here, I think really resonates with a lot of people is, people go in, they become a politician, they catch the disease, as you say, but then we just keep sending them back. And that's on us.
Well, it is. And when you look at the voter data, there's 750,000 people in District 6, and in the primaries, only 41,000 vote. So, you hear a lot of people say, my vote doesn't count, my vote doesn't count. Well, there's 710,000 people saying my vote doesn't count, 710,000 people saying my vote doesn't count. It does.
Yeah.
A lot.
It absolutely does. And by the way, as far as that district is concerned, what we're talking about is a huge part of Tarrant County, which includes a fair bit of Arlington, Crowley, Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, Mansfield. A lot of you are in this district. The 6th District, Navarro counties, say Corsicana, lots of towns down that way. A lot of Ellis County, Waxahachie, Midlothian, Ennis. A lot of you guys are part of this district. It's a huge piece of the area as part of District 6. So, guys, in those areas, you need to be listening.
And I've gotten to go to a lot of these different areas, and I can tell you, super nice people everywhere I go.
Oh, of course.
The Corsicana Opry House, we spent some time there talking to some people, and I've never been there before, but it was really neat. We're gonna have to go back and watch a band play or two.
There you go.
Maybe even sing on stage. Who knows?
Hey, there you go. Well, and so I want to go back a little bit more to this. That we've got politicians that they just stay in office, and they don't maybe get just what the average, Joe and Jane are going through on a daily basis, but we send people in from, the ground level, and maybe they can make a difference for a few years. But you're exactly right, but because you don't want to go in there and stay, you want to go in, see if you can make a difference.
Correct.
You want to serve,
Absolutely,
and but you don't want to do it for life. Go in and serve, and then go back to regular life.
right. Go back to what I was doing, and I think that one of the things we need to do is get legislation pushed through that forces that. It's worked very well in the office of the president when we put in term limits, and I don't see why. I mean, Congress controls the money of the government, and money makes everything run.
Right.
And we've got people that just spend their lives in there that are completely out of touch with what we do on a daily basis. So I think that it's more important now than ever to get some term limits in for these Congress people, so that way they don't have a choice. They've got to leave at some point.
Exactly. And we hear about term limits all the time, and we'll see candidates in the past that have talked about it, and it never seems to go through. And, you start to wonder, are they ever going to agree with that? Because they're getting rid of their own jobs. Are we going to ever get enough of them to say yay on this?
Well, and Ted Cruz actually just made a nice post online about stating that some of that's our job as voters to make sure that politicians understand that there is a penalty for doing the wrong thing by us. Right now, up in Washington, because there's relatively few people that actually get out and vote, up in Washington, the penalty for doing the right thing is actually worse than the penalty for doing the wrong thing, because the people up there will make you pay a higher price than the actual voters back in your home constituency.
Right.
And I think we need to reverse that trend. We need to show them that we are watching and we will vote. And the price for doing something that we don't want you to do is going to be high. And,
Right.
and I think we have a chance this election cycle to prove that.
Well, I think you're bang on, because the power up in D.C. is killer, and they can.
Yes.
If they decide if you're not going to toe the line up there, then guess what? They can put something together and kill your career.
Correct.
Whereas we're just going to keep sending them back. For example, in your district, going against Joe Barton, the incumbent, he's been in since 1985.
Long time.
Long time.
Yes.
And not that he's done a bad job. We're not saying anything like that. I mean, you'd have to look at his record from, 85 till now. That's a long record to go over.
It is.
And certainly he's been a great supporter of the area and done a lot of great things, no doubt. But at the end of the day, how effective can you be staying in Congress for that long?
Correct. And he's on the Energy Committee, and he's on a couple of other committees, and obviously those can get held over a politician's head, and I believe they have in Mr. Barton's case. Because if you go against what the establishment in Washington wants you to do, they'll take those away.
Right.
And it comes with extra clout, it comes with extra power, it comes with a lot of things that these career politicians actually want. And so, again, the price of making the right decision for the people of your constituents is higher than the price of making a decision that goes against what they do in Washington.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because when you go up there, you're going to have to hit your head against the wall nonstop to fight for what your constituents want back home. But that's not how the game works there.
No, but like I've said before, I don't go to work scared. I mean, you're there to do a job. You're there to make sure that the people that you work for, which are the people of the United States, the people of your district, get the results that they're looking for. And I will say that in my professional career in the private side of business, any person that's over me, my boss has my cell phone number, and I'm readily reachable at any time to them, and I should be that way for the constituents of District 6. And so on my business cards, on my website, on my Facebook page, on everything I do, I put my cell phone number. So if any of you want to reach out to me, I'm always there. I'm literally a phone call away, and I'll answer.
Absolutely. And that's going to kind of dovetail nicely into talking about, being present if you're in that office and not missing votes and being there to vote, because that's your job. We're sending you there to represent us. We'll get back into that in a second. Folks, we're going to take a short break. Mike Kruizinga, Inside Real Estate Radio. Be back in a few. With over 3.5 million square feet and 5 DFW locations, Ideal Floors has you covered for all your flooring needs. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, laminate, wood, or vinyl plank, Ideal Floors has you covered. And with their price match guarantee and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, they are the absolute best in DFW for all your flooring needs. Call Kevin Hamus, the owner of Ideal Floors, at 214-789-0422 or go to idealfloors.com for all your flooring needs.
Don't miss one of your favorites playing a free show. It's Pat Green, February 20th at the Irving Convention Center. You heard right, Pat Green in a free show, February 20th. Showtime at 7 p.m. at the Irving Convention Center. A free concert with Pat Green, Saturday, February 20th at the Irving Convention Center. Showtime at 7 p.m. Don't miss it.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we are back inside Real Estate. Mike Kruizinga, website InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. We're going to resume our conversation in our politics segment. Of course, this is an election year, so we're talking to a lot of the candidates that are going to be running for office. And we've got in studio Colin Baker. He's running in District 6 against Joe Barton, the incumbent, running for Congress. And so let's get back into it a little bit. Let's talk about, you say you're not scared to go to work. You're going to go to work every day. And, we kind of forget once we put these people in office, we kind of zone out a little bit. And they're supposed to be there to vote and on all the various things that are going on in Congress. And a lot of times they don't. By and large, the incumbent has had a good attendance record. They have a lot of votes. But at the same time, even 5%. Is a big number when that's your job.
It absolutely is. And he's been in office a long time. Obviously, we have a large number of votes that he has either made or missed, but he is in the top 25 percentile of missed votes in the House of Representatives. And again, on a long enough timeline, I guess anything could possibly happen. But
sure.
Congress they don't work every day like
right.
everybody else does. So when you're looking at a 5% miss rate, that's high. And you have to ask yourself, was it because truly something was going on, or was it because there were particular votes that he would have rather not been on record about?
Exactly.
And nobody can answer that question but him. So I can't speculate, but
exactly, and that's what we don't like is in the game.
Correct.
When you're going to be penalized for standing up and saying yes or no, and by and large, this goes into what you were saying earlier. But the powers that be on the Hill are the ones that are going to knock you.
Absolutely.
And you might get hit either way, saying yes or no, and so they just don't vote at all, and we don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, you send your representative there for a particular purpose, and that's to vote the way that you as a constituent wanted them to vote. And if they don't do it at all, inaction is worse than going the wrong way sometimes.
Yeah, and inaction is inaction.
It is. It is an action. You're basically allowing whatever's going to happen, and you're not fighting for anything at that point.
Exactly. You're not standing up for anything at all. By the way, in 2015, Barton's record, he missed 27 of 704 votes. Now, obviously, 704 votes is a lot of votes to be present for.
A lot.
And missing only 27 is kind of a small number, but when that is your only job and legislative sessions only last for so long.
Correct.
Honestly, we the people we put you in office, we expect you to have 100%.
Oh, yes.
And as far as everybody else, if you look at everybody else, overall over his career, he's down in the 4%, about 4.2 lifetime, which is pretty good for someone who's been in for as long as he has. But why strive for mediocrity? Why don't we strive for being present every single time?
Well, that's true, and this may go back to term limits as well, because after a while of being in there, it starts to be the norm. You just this is what you do every day. You're going to get elected next term. It's not that big a deal. So maybe we miss a couple. No one's going to notice. If you only have a limited amount of time to get something done, obviously the deadline's going to make you work harder to get it. So again, we need people that aren't wanting to stay there their entire lives, that don't have a political career to look forward to, and that will actually do the will of the people and be able to transfer some of that power back.
Absolutely. And of course there's people in Congress that have earned double-digit percentage points of not showing up, and but you just need to be there every day. Let's last couple minutes here. Let's give a 120 second on why the people need to put you in office.
Again, I'm not a politician. My intention is not to be a politician. So and like I said before, I don't go to work scared. Out of the myriad of bills that might come across the House of Representatives chamber, and there are going to be a ton of them.
Yes.
So to speak to each and every one of them is probably impossible in the short time that we have today. But what I can make is a promise to the constituents of District 6 that they will always pass through 3 qualifications with me before I decide which way I'm going to vote. And that is it constitutional? Does it make us more free? And does it decrease the size of government? If any of those answers are no, then my vote will be no on every single one. If it passes those 3 qualifications, then my vote will be yes. And it's extraordinarily simple. And that's the promise that I'll make to you, regardless of what it does in Washington to my perceived political career that I don't really want. I will vote that way every time for you.
Right there, folks, is exactly what the people want to hear. Keep it simple, sweet, and you put it very succinctly in those three qualifiers right there. If most politicians, went by those 3 qualifiers, our country might be in a heck of a lot of better place than it is now.
I couldn't agree more.
Folks, we've been talking with Colin Baker, who's running for Congress, District 6, going up against Joe Barton. Give me those 3 qualifiers again, because I want the people to hear those again. I want the people to hear those 3 again.
Is it constitutional? Does it make us more free? And does it decrease the size of government?
Yeah, that was definitely worth repeating because, honestly, that's what the people want.
Absolutely. It's what we need.
Yeah, it is what we need. It is absolutely what we need. Folks, for more information on Colin Baker's running for Congress. Okay, it's ColinBaker2016.com. Colin with 2 L's, ColinBaker2016.com. He's running in District 6. So if you're in part of Tarrant County, Navarro, Ellis County, then you need to check Colin out. Hey, folks, we've had a great day, action-packed day. Inside Real Estate Radio, InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. Hey, next Sunday, 8 a.m., we're here every week. See you next week. We're out. Neither the hosts nor the guests or contributors of the show Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga are attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, or investment advisors, and are not providing legal advice during the course of the show. If you need professional legal advice or services in any advice, 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 or services